The snow fell silently. It blanketed the small town of Ashtonville, covering it in a pristine white. Yet, beneath the idyllic facade, a chilling tale lay dormant. At the edge of the town, shrouded in a perpetual mist and shadowed by gnarled, ancient trees, stood St. Noel's Church. Once a beacon of joy and celebration, it was now abandoned, its stone walls crumbling, its bell tower silent. Locals whispered of strange occurrences every December, of ghostly carols echoing from within its dilapidated walls, and fleeting shadows flitting through its broken windows. Many dared not go near, their fear fueled by ancient tales. The church remained, a spectre of forgotten faith, shrouded in mystery and dread. Each Christmas Eve, the stories claimed, the church came alive. Soft lights flickered from within, though no candle burned there. Eerie melodies, whispered on the wind, reached the town, their source unknown. But no one dared to investigate, to uncover the truth behind the unsettling rumors that swirled around St. Noel's. Clara, a young woman with a mind as sharp as the winter wind and a spirit as fiery as a Christmas hearth, scoffed at these tales. She dismissed them as mere folklore, the product of overactive imaginations and long, dark nights. Her skepticism was well known throughout Ashtonville. While others huddled by the fire sharing ghost stories, Clara devoured books on science and logic. She sought rational explanations, refusing to be drawn into the town's tapestry of superstition. Ghosts singing carols? She'd chuckle, more likely the wind whistling through broken windows. Her disbelief was absolute. To Clara, St. Noel's was not a haunted sanctuary, but a crumbling edifice ripe for exploration. She saw not fear, but a challenge, a puzzle to be solved. And what better time to unravel this mystery than Christmas Eve, when the ghostly apparitions were said to be at their peak? As dusk fell on Christmas Eve, casting long shadows across the snow-laden town, Clara set out. Armed with nothing but a lantern and her unwavering skepticism, she walked towards the outskirts of Ashtonville, towards the foreboding silhouette of St. Noel's Church. The wind howled like a banshee, whipping snowflakes into a blinding frenzy. But Clara pressed on, her breath forming icy plumes in the frigid air. Each step took her closer to the church, closer to the heart of the mystery. The closer she got, the more the temperature seemed to drop. A shiver ran down her spine, but she dismissed it as the biting wind. The faint scent of pine needles reached her, a strange anomaly amidst the cold, sterile air. Then she heard it, a soft melody carried on the wind. A carol sung in a chorus of hauntingly beautiful voices. Her heart pounded against her ribs, her skepticism momentarily faltering. Was it just the wind, as she had always believed? Or was it something far more ethereal, far more unsettling? Clara reached the church gates, their iron bars rusted and covered in snow. Pushing them open, she stepped onto the grounds of St. Noel's, the eerie carol growing louder. Taking a deep breath, she held her lantern high, its light cutting through the darkness. The church loomed before her, its broken windows like vacant eyes staring into her soul. The wind whistled through the gaps in the stonework, creating a symphony of eerie whispers. As she approached the entrance, the singing grew louder, clearer. It was a haunting melody, both beautiful and terrifying. Clara's hand trembled as she reached for the heavy oak door. It creaked open as if inviting her in, the sound echoing through the silent night. Taking a deep breath, Clara stepped inside, her lantern casting long, dancing shadows on the dusty pews. The air inside was heavy with the scent of decay and something else, something ancient and vaguely unsettling. Section 5. Shadows and Inscriptions. The interior of St. Noel's was a testament to its abandonment. Cobwebs hung from the rafters like macabre Christmas decorations. The once vibrant stained glass windows were now just shards of coloured glass, casting fragmented rainbows on the dusty floor. The pews, once filled with devoted parishioners, were now home to nothing but silence. Yet despite the decay, there was a palpable energy within the church, a sense of something unseen, watching, waiting. As Clara's eyes adjusted to the dimness, she noticed movement in the shadows. Flickering forms seemed to dance at the edge of her lantern's light, disappearing when she turned to face them directly. The singing continued, echoing around her, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Then her gaze fell upon the altar. There, carved into the aged wood, was a single name, Amelia. The name was not carved in the elegant script one might expect in a church, but in a rough, hurried hand, as if etched in a moment of desperation. Suddenly, a voice broke through the ghostly carols. "You should not be here!" Startled, Clara whirled around, her lantern light falling on a figure standing in the doorway. It was an old man, his face hidden in the shadows of a hooded cloak. He was tall and gaunt, his eyes gleaming with an unnerving intensity. Clutching a worn, leather-bound book, he stepped into the faint light of the lantern. His voice was a low rasp, as if unused for years. "This is a place of sorrow, of forgotten memories," the old man continued, his gaze fixed on Clara. "Leave now while you still can." Clara, her initial fear replaced by a surge of curiosity, straightened her spine. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. "And what is this place, really?" The old man took a step closer, his shadow stretching towards her like a grasping hand. "I am but a messenger," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "This church, it holds secrets best left undisturbed." "Secrets about Amelia?" Clara pressed, her gaze fixed on the name carved into the altar. The old man's eyes widened momentarily, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his features. He opened his mouth to speak, but then closed it again as if reconsidering his words. Outside, the wind howled, rattling the church doors. The ghostly carols reached a crescendo, filling the air with their haunting melody. In that moment of heightened tension, Clara took a step forward, her gaze never leaving the old man's face. "Tell me what you know," she demanded, her voice echoing in the vast emptiness of the church. The old man took a step back, his figure swallowed by the shadows. "Beware, child," he rasped, his voice fading into the wind. "Some truths are best left buried," and with that he was gone. Clara spun around, searching for the old man, her heart pounding in her chest, but he was nowhere to be found. The church was empty, silent except for the eerie carols that seemed to be growing fainter, more distant. She rushed towards the door, her breath catching in her throat. Outside, the wind howled, whipping snow into a blinding frenzy. The path back to town was no longer visible, swallowed by the swirling white. Clara never returned from St. Noel's church that night. The townsfolk searched for her, their lanterns bobbing in the blizzard, their calls swallowed by the wind. But Clara was gone, vanished without a trace. Some whispered that she had been claimed by the secrets of the church, her fate forever entwined with the ghostly carols and shadowy figures. Others said she had simply lost her way in the storm, her body buried beneath the unforgiving snow. Whatever her fate, Clara's disappearance cemented the legend of St. Noel's church. It remained abandoned, a stark reminder of the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface of the quaint town. And each Christmas Eve, when the wind howled and the snow fell, the townsfolk swore they could hear an extra voice joining the ghostly carols, a voice filled with both sorrow and a strange sense of peace. A voice that sounded, they whispered, remarkably like Clara's.